Lisa Copeland, and I want to invite you to my show, The Big Sell. Are you ready to stop being a small player in a big world? Are you ready to decommoditize your business? Are you ready to stand aside from the competition? Join me every week on The Big Sell. Hi, it's Lisa Copeland, and welcome to Big Sellers. And as usual, I've got another big seller on here. See, we want this show to bring so much value, maximum value, for people that are big sellers. And there's a lot of ways to cut the pie nowadays, I'll tell you what. But if you are on social media at all, then you understand that it is critical that you build a brand on social media. But I've got with me today a good friend of mine, Luke Nesler, who is an absolute expert when it comes to building a brand on social media. And he's going to talk to us about what to do and what not to do. So Luke is the owner of Impact Media. And I'm about to start doing some work with him, and many of my friends and clients do work with him. And like I said, I only bring you guys the best of the best. Luke, welcome to the Art of the Big Sell.
Lisa, thanks for having me. It's a pleasure to be here. I love what you're doing, and I'm excited to be on the show.
Well, I just want to dig in. I feel like, Luke, every time I get on social media now, there's somebody who's got an iPhone in their face, and they think that they're Gary Vee.
Exactly. Yep, 100%. I mean, it's in some instances, I think it's some folks' way of finding their voice. I mean, I'll be honest. When I started my business, I was influenced by Gary Vee, Grant Cardone, all these different people, and I started to hear myself saying the same stuff they said. And it took me a little while to find my voice. So I think it's fine if it's your way of finding your voice, but there are some people that definitely try to rip him off and not just him, but anybody, and clone and be somebody else. And I made that mistake. I tried to curse on stage more than what I should because, well, this person and this person did it and it was funny until it bombed and it didn't work for me. And then through trial and error, I found my own voice. And it wasn't until then that it really started to take off and pick up for me, because people can see right through the BS. They can tell when you're being not authentic, and it's easy to point out.
So how did you find your voice? I love you said that. I wasn't even going to go down that road, but that really interests me, because you are a branding and a marketing expert, and you're here to say, but you know what, Luke, and I bet I bet you have the same thing that I do. I mean, I'm a branding and marketing expert too in the automotive industry. And, but I had a heck of a time finding my own brand, which is why, of course, I work with 2 Market Media like you do. But I could look at your brand and I can knock it out in 3 minutes. Why do you think people like you and me, who are high creatives, high strategists, why do you think we have a hard time defining our own voice sometimes?
I think it goes back to, you said, how did you find your brand? I think it goes back to, I still haven't. And once I realized that I wasn't going to find my brand, I'm always chasing it. It's an ever evolving thing. And once I realized that, it was just a matter of showing my brand at this current point in time. What's my current state right now? I've finally gotten out of the, oh my God, are we going to make it? Is it going to be here tomorrow? Are we going to go out of business? Because that's where it started. Once I started telling that story, now we're in the process of, hey, we're trying to blow this thing up. We're trying to scale. We're trying to do what our friend Matt Monero would say is stack and rack cash. We're growing and scaling. And, when I'm 40, 50, 60, it might be closer to where Grant Cardone's at, or somebody that's extremely.
It's not going to take you that long. I promise.
Yeah, right. I've never found my brand. And once I realized that, it's a matter of, I'm showing everybody what I'm currently going through right now, and the current version of Luke Nesler, the current version of Lisa Copeland. And that's not going to be the same version of you and me next year or the year after that. So I think it's an ever evolving thing.
Right. And no, and I like you say that. And I like the fact that you're transparent about it. But I guarantee you could look at my brand or Matt Monero's or whoever else, and you're going, 100%. Oh yeah, boom, here's what we need to do.
Absolutely.
So it's hard to look in the mirror.
Yes.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is. And to decide. And so, what are some of the mistakes that you see people making on social media? I mean, this is your business. This is, right. You guys are crushing it out there, but what are the mistakes that you see?
The biggest one, and I've been talking about it a lot here recently, is the excuse of, well, I'm not active on social media because I'm modest. I don't like to brag. I don't want to come off as arrogant. I hear it so many times. And the people that you see on social media obviously aren't making those excuses because they're already putting content out. But there are a lot of experts, a lot of people skilled at their craft the excuse they're making is, I'm modest, that's why I don't do social media. That's the exact same thing as saying, you know, a lot of us went to college. I was a horrible student, but I went to college. That'd be like us saying that every single teacher, whether it be high school, middle school, grade school, or college, they're arrogant pricks because, well, they're in front of everybody talking. They're educating, they're teaching, they're inspiring.
Right.
Just because you have the attention of your audience does not make you egotistical or arrogant. You can be modest and still promote yourself online, because I would venture to say you're doing something that you feel brings value to other people. And those people are not going to be able to utilize your value if they don't know you. So the first mistake is you're making excuses, and that's why you're not putting anything out there. And that's why nobody knows you, right?
Right.
So that's the first thing. The second is you don't sell on social media by selling. You sell on social media by telling, by educating, by communicating your value to the world. You know, your competitors, my competitors, they'll get online and they'll say, hey, this is what I do, buy from me. We have this thing on sale, that thing on sale. And people don't pay attention to that. They swipe right over it because it's spam. That's selling on social media. The way you're going to actually generate revenue on social media is to get attention. And the way you're going to get attention is to bring value. So the second big mistake is people aren't providing value. They're just talking about themselves and what they do, and they're not educating. So, you know, with me, I talk about the current state of the marketing industry. What do you need to know about Facebook to grow your business? I teach people on a daily basis how to not hire my agency. Literally, I tell them how to market their business, because here's what's going to happen. Those that can't afford me can benefit from me because they'll apply what I've taught them. Those that can't afford me are going to hear what I say and say, damn, he's an expert. And they're not going to try and do it themselves. They're going to come to me. They're not going to go to the person that's saying, buy from me, buy from me. They're going to go to the expert.
Right. And, you know, how did you become an expert in Facebook marketing? Because there is an expertise to it. As a former car dealer, I had an outside agency that handled my Facebook, because even my ad agency, they're like, ooh, I don't know how to do this with all the carousels and the inventory merchandising. It isn't just like posting a car and saying, hey, come buy me. And there really is an art. There is an art to the big sell of Facebook marketing. There is no doubt about that. So how did you gain your expertise?
So that is part of what makes my company unique. Is the reason we're experts at what we do is because I have a business partner, Jeff, and we started as a video production and web design shop. We became experts at social media because it's what saved our business. We did not start off as a digital marketing company, a social media company. We started out creating websites and videos for folks, right? So businesses would come to me and I would shoot a TV commercial or an internet video for them. It was back in 2012, 2013. Well, the problem was nobody knew who we were. All right. We were a brand new business. We moved into one of the most expensive office complexes in town. It was myself, my partner, and one intern. And it got to a point to where at the time I was early 20s, and it was so bad that I was sleeping in my office. I was $30,000 in credit card debt after I just graduated college debt free. And our landlord was about ready to kick us out because we hadn't paid rent. So we had no option but to figure out some way to get the word out about what we were doing. So the only thing I could do, I didn't even know what I was doing. I just picked this thing up and I started putting content on LinkedIn, Facebook, and YouTube and Twitter, because those were the main platforms then. And I did it consistently out of desperation. And I was terrified because I didn't know what to expect. I didn't know if people were going to make fun of me. I didn't know if it was going to work. And lo and behold, we had 3 clients come to us that generated about $10,000 in revenue, which was just enough, literally almost down to the dollar, to pay rent for the first time in 3 months and to pay ourselves for the first time in 2 months.
I bet that landlord was happy to see you walking in.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Needless to say, they're no longer our landlord because, and here's the beautiful thing, not because we ever got kicked out. I've never actually, I just got goosebumps. The reason they're no longer our landlord is because that started to work. Right? Social media started to work and a light bulb went off and we got more clients and more clients and more clients. And then I realized, hey, this is what we need to be doing. We need to be doing this for our clients. The reason they're no longer our landlord is because 2 years into a 3-year lease, we outgrew the office. We over doubled our business in a year, and we started bringing on employees, and we outgrew that office space that just a year before we couldn't even afford. And now we're where we're at today. We're in a 4,000 square foot office space. So it literally changed the complete face of my business. And so the reason we became experts is because we had to figure out how to get attention on us. I didn't believe in TV, radio, news, or newspaper. I didn't think it worked, and I didn't have any money to advertise on there. So the only thing I could do was get attention using social media. And now that's exactly what we do for our clients.
I mean, what a great story, though. Just the fact that, I mean, sounds like you were living in that office, literally.
Yeah, for a while
so that
I was.
Really stunk. You wouldn't have had a place to sleep or go to work if you got kicked out. But just the fact that, you figured it out, and there is power, and that's one thing I have learned. I mean, I teach sales and marketing and stuff like that. And so people are always like, God, you give so much content out. I'm about to release an ebook that took me a year to write, and I'm going to give it away. And it's called Crushing the Competition. But that's what you do, because that's how you establish your authority brand. Yeah.
It's a game of patience and expectation. So I've done work for, we'll use this as an example. We're a multi seven-figure company, and literally in the past 12 months, I worked for free for a large personal brand that had a large project coming out. And I threw everything that my company had at him for free, because I knew that if it worked for him, it would result in something much larger. So my expectation was, it may or may not happen. I don't care if I get anything out of it in return. I built a relationship with this guy. So my expectation was next to nothing. But I also was patient. I knew, listen, if I invest my time, our energy, even some money into this, it'll pay off. Now I have the largest lit agency, Dupree Miller. They're going to rep me, and they're hiring us to do things for multiple clients of theirs, because I took a gamble and worked for free when actually it wasn't. I built a relationship that monetized later. And I think a lot of people are afraid to do that. So they want, if they post on Facebook or Instagram today, they want a new client tomorrow. And we struggle with this with our clients even today.
Right.
They don't see the value in the exposure that they're generating now that they weren't a month ago, because that exposure hasn't yet generated $5 million in sales, right?
Okay,
we have a client.
I want to talk about that, because we live in this on-demand world,
Exactly.
I want it now, instant gratification, and a social media strategy is not instant gratification, because you're going out and you're having to build trust, a tribe, influence, and that is not overnight. So people have to know that when they go into this space, that it takes time. Like what typically do you see as a ramp up time? If you just had to, let's just say, or can you even say that? Because everyone's
really
different.
Say it depends on the person. I mean, it depends on the business. If it's a business that's been around for a really long time, they're used to having this reputation that they built. Well, they built it when people were watching TV, listening to radio ads, and reading the newspaper. And reality is, people haven't consumed that at scale for 10 years. So really, for the last 10 years, you've been irrelevant. Now you're rebuilding that. So you're not going to hit pay dirt in the first 30, 60, 90 days. It might take 6 months to a year. We have a client that they invested $50,000 total over a period of, I think it was 4 months. They were in the hole on month 1, month 2, month 3, almost to month 4. They hadn't even broken even. And then the campaign started to go. By the end of the 4th month, they had generated over $1 million in sales.
Good
right?
Lord.
So that's not going to happen to everybody.
I was going to say, I have $50,000. I'm going to wire it to you. It'll be there in the morning.
Yeah. It's not going to happen to everybody. I mean, we've had some clients that it's happened much quicker. We have some clients that have zero brand awareness, meaning nobody knows you, nobody cares about you, you're not relevant. So you've got to understand that we had talked before we came on air. It's like trying to get a 6-pack, right? I'd love to have one, but I'm not going to get one in 30, 60, 90, or sometimes even a year, because it's a process. But the bottom line is, first, you need visibility and exposure. Then you can get ROI. The big misconception is, if I spend this, I want ROI tomorrow. And there's a bridge in between, and it's called visibility and exposure. Before you can get that ROI, you've got to build an audience. You've got to take somebody from cold to warm to hot. Then you deliver that call to action. Once you have this hot following, this tribe, that's when it converts. Our goal of a company is not to tell people, well, we generated a 4,000% increase in exposure. Your videos went from 0 to 500,000 views. Our goal is to say that, plus, hey, you invested $100,000 and we generated you over $2 million in revenue. through this process.
I mean,
but
hey,
it is a
that's
process.
the best ROI. And one of the things that, you talked about is the visibility, but I think you also have to establish the credibility.
Absolutely.
As a brand.
Today you do more than ever. I mean, especially in my industry, and I'm sure it's in your industry and our friends in New York at Two Market Media, their industry. There's so many people that everybody today poses as an expert. Everybody that has
it makes me crazy, Luke. And I'm going to tell you, the posers do not make my show. Yeah. I've been around a little bit longer than you have in life, and I can smell a poser a mile off.
Yeah, well, I appreciate that. That means that you believe that I'm the real deal.
I do believe you're the real deal.
It's important. And so it's a lot of, what are you going to say that separates yourself from the poser? So we work with a lot of real estate agents, brokers and owners and realtors around the country. There's, just in my town, there's 250 agents. So I would consider a lot of them posers, right? A lot of them aren't actually experts of their craft. So what are the few doing that are experts that set them apart from those that know nothing compared to them? You can't do the same thing as everybody else. If everybody else is showing their listing and posting it on Facebook, you can't do what they're doing because you literally look the same, and perception is reality. So what can you do to really illustrate that you know what the hell you're talking about? And there's a ton of little tips and tricks that we could get into, but it's a matter of proof. You've got to show that you know what you're talking about. And in my case, in your case, it's actually teaching and educating, telling people things that the posers aren't going to be able to tell them.
Well, and I think it's such great advice. So how does somebody get or find your free information? I know you have a show. Like how can somebody start following you?
Yeah, so Luke Nesler on any of the social media platforms. Make sure you spell my name wrong. Make sure you spell it right. It's hard to spell. So Luke, L-U-K-E. Nesler only has one S. It's N-E-S-L-E-R. Then that's fine. That's closer than a lot of spellings. Most people will put a T in there. It's crazy. N-E-S-L-E-R. My big channels are YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram, and I pump out a ton of educational content on there. That's the best place. You can go to thinkimpact.com. That's our website. There's some good resources and information on there.
You also spell impact differently.
I-M-P-A-K-T.
Yes.
So,
and guys and ladies and gentlemen, we will have all of that in the show notes so that you know how to get a hold of Luke. So Luke, as we wrap things up, and you want to give my audience 3 steps to become a social media sensation, to build their business. But let's just say everybody's at ground zero. What would be the first 3 things that you would tell them to do?
Yep. Number one, understand it only takes 2 platforms to be successful. I know there's a lot of options out there. It literally takes 2 platforms to be successful because your audience is not on every platform, right? Find out where your audience pays attention. I can give you a really quick rundown of that. If it's an adult, anybody that's 25 and up, they're on Facebook, they're on Instagram, and they're on YouTube. Those are the main places you want to be. If they're below that, they're on Instagram and they're on Snapchat. If you're in the business to business space, LinkedIn is important, but it's not as important as Facebook and YouTube. I have a lot of videos that teach you that, but don't get overwhelmed with there's all these options. It only takes 2 platforms for you to be successful. The second tip is you have to understand that you've got to create content yourself. There are a lot of companies out there that for $500 a month, $250 a month, they'll post for you 7 days a week. It's complete junk. It's complete garbage. That is like you're saying, hey, automate my brand. You need to pick this thing up. You need to shoot video, take a photo, write a quick blog post, whatever it is, something that is coming from you or your team that you post organically, meaning you don't put any money behind it, but you post every single day. Spend a little bit of time. It takes 7 to 10 minutes a day for you to populate content on social media consistently. So you need to do that consistently. And then the third step is to pour gasoline on that fire. The way you're going to turn a like into $1 or the way you're going to turn attention into revenue is you've got to learn or you've got to hire somebody that's an expert to run a targeted advertising campaign on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, whatever the platform of choice is for you, because that's how you're going to meet new people, reach new people, and nurture them and turn them into a customer. It's a proven process. It works, but you've got to implement the paid advertising side of social media. It's imperative.
And I could talk to you forever about that. And then one of the things, Luke, you're part of our big sellers group. And I want you to, when we get done with this, if you will go in and post some of your videos.
Sure, I absolutely will.
To our tribe, because I know I'm going to watch them. And I mean, I could talk to you for hours about this. Yeah, I do want to say one thing about LinkedIn. For me personally, I do a lot of business on LinkedIn when it comes to my speaking career and my consulting.
Yeah.
I get hired a lot from putting things up. Whereas I don't get hired as much from Facebook. I have a great following, but someone isn't calling me saying, hey, we want to write you a $20,000 contract, fly out, you know?
Yeah.
So, you know, you're right. It is different. And I think you've got to find your groove. I have to ask one more question. See, I'm supposed to be done right now, and here I keep going. What do you think about these platforms like a buffer, you know, kind of preloading some of this stuff?
Yeah, I think it's, I use it from time to time. I try to get into, I've been using something called Social Pilot, and it's similar to Buffer. I've been trying to get into the habit of using it more. For me, it just works better to post daily, whatever
as it comes out, right?
Yeah. So the problem, the thing you've got to be careful with any scheduling tool is do not try to automate your month or your year. Do not schedule out any further than a week.
Yeah.
Because here's what happens. What if something awful happens tomorrow? Right? What if somebody, you know, assassinates one of our leaders, and right when that breaks on CNN, you've got a post coming out that doesn't pay any attention to that, and it only promotes you. It makes you look disconnected from society. It's messed up. There was an airline that did it to where they had interns posting their stuff, and they were talking about fly to West Virginia, which is the state that I'm proudly from. Fly to West Virginia, fly to West Virginia, fly to Pocahontas County, West Virginia for kayaking. What they didn't know, that there was a flood that killed 50 people that day in Pocahontas County. Now, who the hell wants to see a post about going there to kayak when families are dying? It's a disconnect. So you got to be careful about things like that. That's a once in a
but that's really good advice. It is,
but it can happen. So
and, you know,
yeah, I'm a big fan of those.
I do post out a lot of my tweets.
Yes,
because I need to tweet about 20 times a day. So I try to do like 10 pre-done.
Exactly what I do.
Yeah. Because Twitter, I mean, it is a full-time job, especially doing what we do. Well, Luke, I want to thank you. How can my people, okay, so we're going to post the content, you know, how they can find your content. How can they work with you or your agency? Same way? Should we put your email address up there?
Yeah, you can drop my email address in there. It's luke@thinkimpact.com, IMPAKT. Shoot me an email. Listen, we only work with people that we're confident we can get results for. So, I mean, if you even question, hey, can this be of value to me? Just shoot me an email. I'm not going to sell anybody and everybody. We want to work with people that we think we can get results for. And unlike what a lot of companies will tell you, we're not right for everybody. So if you're a good fit and I'm confident we can help you, then we can move forward with that. If you're interested in it, you can go to thinkimpact.com. You can shoot me an email, drop me a DM on Facebook or Instagram. I'm the guy you want to talk to about it, and I'm definitely happy to help.
Well, Luke, thank you again for your time. It was of great value. Everybody, I'm going to put it up there, and I will see you next time on Big Sellers.